And welcome back. This is part 3 of my 3-part video series I make for the California housing market, which I make every single month for you guys. In today's video, I'm going to touch on some trends we're seeing right now regarding home prices by each of the counties here in California, as well as each of the 7 major regions that the California Association of Realtors tracks. So in today's video, I'm going to take a deep dive into home price trends at a regional level as well as a county-wide level as well. I'm going to look at month-over-month changes, comparing that to years past, as well as home prices compared to 1 year ago, 2 years ago, as well as 3 years ago back in March of 2020, right at the onset of COVID here. So I hope you guys get a lot of value in today's video. And of course, please hit the like button, of course. And this is based on my own analysis of the California Association of Realtors data. So in other words, you probably won't hear this analysis anywhere else because it's based on my own analysis of their data, for the lack of a better word. So here is an Excel spreadsheet. You guys all know I love Excel spreadsheets and sharing the latest trends that way with you guys. I'm a nerd at heart. What can I say? So here is some things you guys should be aware of. So generally speaking, we tend to see the media talk about year-over-year changes in prices and home sales, et cetera, et cetera. But month-over-month changes can also provide some details and some insights as well. And of course, compared to 2 years ago, and of course, compared to the past couple of years as well. So let's look at month-over-month changes by county first, and I'll share some additional analysis here. So let's look at California as a whole. And by the way, these stats here, again, is from the California Association of Realtors, and it's based on the median sold price for existing single-family houses only. So for the state as a whole, home sold prices increased by 7.6% compared to February this year, a gain of nearly 8% on a month-over-month basis. And based on my analysis, the average February to March change going back to 2010 was a gain of 8.3%, whereas this year we saw a gain of 7.6%. Therefore, we're not too much far off what we normally would expect this time of year. In other words, we have a seasonal uptick in home prices like we see on average each and every year. But of course, having said that, we're still below the average though, of course, right? 7.6% versus a gain of 8.3%. Now, here's what I also found as well, because when looking at this right here, 38 of the 51 counties that the California Association of Realtors tracks have reported an increase in home sold prices compared to 1 month ago. So 38 of the 51 counties recorded increases in prices compared to 1 month ago. And that represents 75% of the counties here in California. So on average, we're seeing an uptick in prices compared to 1 month ago. However, though, year-over-year changes tell an entirely different story though. So for example, 84% of the counties here in California have posted a decrease in prices compared to 12 months ago, even though approximately 75% are actually up compared to 1 month ago. So we have this very interesting dynamic right now where prices on average are increasing compared to 1 month ago, but they're still down greatly compared to 12 months ago. Now, before I share price trends compared to 1, 2, and 3 years ago, here's a look at how prices have changed compared to last year's peak by each of the counties here. This is the peak from last year compared to March this year. So for California as a whole, again, for existing single-family detached houses only, that's a decrease of 12%, going from 900,000 to 791,000, a decrease of $108,000. So for the state as a whole, down 12%, but Alameda County, just east of San Francisco, it's down by 21%, going from 1.55 million to approximately 1.2 million by this March. That's a decrease of $320,000 ever since May last year. Which, by the way, the median sold price in the US is $363,000, but in Alameda County, it fell by $320,000 ever since May last year. What's wild about this is that even though prices are down by 21% compared to May last year, that's including the fact that prices increased by 11% compared to last month. And by the way, of course, there's 51 counties that the Association of Realtors tracks. So of course, I'm not going to share every single county, but I will show my spreadsheet here in today's video so you guys can see a county in which maybe I don't talk about in today's video. So next, let's talk about Contra Costa County, because prices decreased by 19% compared to last year's highs, which is back in April last year, down 197,000, yet prices increased by 12% from February. Del Norte is one of these counties in which prices tend to fluctuate greatly. And we look at this, 300,000 to 400,000 in one single month. So I don't put a whole lot of weight into counties in which the data tends to fluctuate greatly on a month-over-month basis. El Dorado County, which is just east of Sacramento, the median sold price in March was $625,000. That's a 1% gain compared to 1 month ago, but we're still down by 17% from last year's highs, which was in May last year, a decrease of 125%. Fresno is not nearly as bad, only down by 4% from April last year, only a decrease of $15,000. Humboldt is down by 6%, much lower than these other areas here as well. We have here as well. Lassen's one of these areas as well where prices tend to fluctuate big time on a monthly basis here. Los Angeles, let's look at Los Angeles here. So Los Angeles down from the peak, which was set later in the year back in September last year, a decrease of $173,000. And prices there only decreased by 1% from February. Marin County saw price gains of 11% from February, yet they're down by 24%, going from $2.1 million. Now it's at $1.6 million. And this, by the way, is one of the biggest decreases of prices compared to last year's peak, which happened in Marin County. By the way, the areas here in yellow are the areas in which prices tend to fluctuate big time each and every month. Merced decreased by only 3% from last year's highs. Monterey County as well, they saw a decrease of 3%, going from 924,000 right there to 900,000 this March. So not as bad of a decrease, which could be due to this right here. A giant increase of 16% on a month-over-month basis in Monterey County. Napa also saw a decrease of 23%, but prices tend to be all over the place in Napa. I'm guessing because some areas are in subdivisions that have more or less smaller lots, whereas other areas could be a winery in which they have hundreds of acres that's sold. So it can have an impact on monthly rates or monthly data here in Napa. What else we have here? Orange County, prices decreasing by 6% and an 8% increase compared to February. Placer, also very close to Sacramento, a gain of 1% month over month, but a decrease of 13% from May last year. What else we have here? Riverside County, a decrease by 6%, a gain of 3% from February. Sacramento, look at this, prices flat on a month-over-month basis, but down by 14% from last year's highs, which was back in May of 2022. San Diego saw a decrease of only 6% and a gain of 5% from February. San Francisco, look at this, a giant increase of 16% from last month, going from just under 1.5 million, now it's $1.7 million. That's only a decrease of 17% compared to last year's highs, which was set back in March of 2022. San Luis Obispo also had a big increase in prices, a gain of 13% from February, and only a decrease of 4% from last year's highs. San Mateo was one of the areas in which prices have decreased the most compared to last year's highs, along with Santa Cruz, believe it or not. So San Mateo went from 2.4 million, now it's just less than 1.9 million, a decrease of 11% from February. Santa Barbara is actually absolutely all over the place. I won't share that. Santa Cruz, though, and Santa Clara, really interesting here because Santa Clara saw a gain of 13% from February, whereas Santa Cruz was flat at 1.2 million. But compared to the highs in Santa Clara, which was set back in April last year, that's a decrease of 14%. Whereas Santa Cruz, they saw a decrease of 25%, going from $1.6 million in March of 2022. Now it's at 1.2 million. I went to school at UC Santa Cruz. I can't believe that prices are that expensive there. Beautiful place to live, but I never would guess that prices would be well above $1 million. What else do we have here? Sonoma's down by 5%. Sutter's down by 16%. What we also have? Ventura down by 11% from last year's highs, which was in April last year, and a small increase of 5% month over month. Yolo County, which is very close to Sacramento as well, saw a fairly significant increase, a gain of 12% from February, and we're down by 7% from 2022. Also for condos in the state of California, the median sold price is down by 9% from last year's highs, which was set back in April last year. But they did increase by 4% month over month. So let's first talk about the major regions here in California. Then I'll share some changes compared to 1, 2, and 3 years ago for each of these counties and regions as well. So in the LA metro area, prices increased by 4%, whereas the Central Coast saw a gain of 8%. In contrast, the only area in which prices decreased on a month-over-month basis was the far north, a decrease of 4%. The biggest increase, believe it or not, was in the San Francisco Bay Area, increasing by 17%, going from just under 1.1 million to just over $1.2 million. What's wild about this is that even though prices increased by 17% month over month, they're still down by 20% compared to 2022's peak. Also, something you guys should be aware of as well in San Francisco, or the Bay Area, I should say, is that 1 month ago, the change from April 2022 to February of 2023 was a decrease of a whopping 32%. But now we add March, the change compared to last year's peak is only down by 20%. All right, let's change gears slightly here and talk about home price changes from 1 year ago, 2, as well as 3 years ago as well. So in the San Francisco Bay Area, look at this, down 15% year over year, going from 1.4 million to approximately 1.2 million. That's a decrease of 15%. Also, prices are flat compared to 2 years ago. So the prices we have right now in the Bay Area as a whole at approximately 1.2 million is flat compared to March of 2021. Also, even though prices are down by 15% year over year, they're still up by 22% from March of 2020, 3 years ago. And by the way, based on my analysis right here, the Bay Area is the only area in which prices have not increased compared to 2 years ago. In fact, the area in which prices increased the most was Inland Empire, a gain of 12%. We also saw a gain of 9% in SoCal, a gain of 9% in the Central Valley, and an increase of 8% in the LA metro area. Also, when looking at the price changes over the past 3 years, every single one of these metros here, or every single one of these regions here, have recorded double-digit increases in the median sold price. If you're a home buyer, the significance regarding this is that even though prices, for example, decreased by 12% from last year's peak in the Central Coast, despite the fact they're down by 12% from then, and also down compared to 1 year ago, they're still up by 34% from 3 years ago. Additionally, here's a look at the state as a whole for existing single-family houses. So down 7% from 12 months ago, but an increase still of 4% from March of 2021. Also, when looking at numbers compared to March of 2020, 3 years ago, prices are still up by 29%. Also in Alameda County, even though prices are down by 14% year over year, they're still up by 26% from 3 years ago. We're also seeing big decreases, or big increases, I should say, in Amador County, Butte County, as well as Calaveras County as well. I mean, most of these regions here have posted big increases over the past 3 years here. So for example, El Dorado County, a decrease of 17% from 12 months ago, but still, despite that, we're still up by 23% from 3 years ago. Let's just look at this. 625,000 right now. 3 years ago, the median sold price was $507,500. Fresno is also one of these areas which prices have absolutely skyrocketed over the past 3 years, a gain of 45%, going from $282,000. Now it's $409,500 in 3 single years. Absolutely crazy. Not 3 single, in 3 years, which is absolutely crazy. Humboldt side gain of 36%. Big increases compared to 2 years ago as well. What else do we have here? Los Angeles, down 8% year over year. Only an increase of 4% from March of 2021, but still up by 26% over the past 3 years. Marin County, look at this. A decrease of 8% from March 2022, down 2% from 2 years ago, and only an increase of 16% from 3 years ago. Merced County is also seeing big increases as well, up by 26% from 2 years ago, a gain of 43% from 3 years ago. Absolutely insane. Whereas, look at this, Monterey County, down 3% from 2 years ago versus up by 26% in Merced during that same time frame. Every real estate market is different. Napa is a decrease of 4% from 2 years ago. Orange County, big increases over the past 2 years as well. What else do we have here? Placer, a gain of 28% from March of 2020. Sacramento, where I live and work as a real estate agent, they saw a gain of 11%, or actually a decrease of 11% from March of 2022. Prices there only increasing by 3%, but compared to 3 years ago, a gain of 25%, going from $400,000, now it's $500,000. There's also big gains in San Diego as well, a gain of 36%, going from $675,000, now it's $915,000, a gain of 36%, despite the fact that they're still down by 4% year over year. San Francisco, look at this, only increased by 3% over the past 3 years. In other words, prices have been more or less, or very close to being flat over the past 3 years. Going from, let's look at this, 3 years ago, back in March 2022, $1.655 million. Now it's $1.7 million, down from 1 year ago, as well as down from 2 years ago as well. The housing market there is not faring nearly as well as these other counties here. San Luis Obispo, giant increase of 45% versus this 3% increase in San Francisco. That's crazy. San Mateo only saw an increase of 6%. Also in Santa Clara, saw an increase of 21% over the past 3 years. Also look at Santa Cruz County, down 25% year over year. However, compared to 3 years ago, they're still up by 30%, going from $925,000, now it's $1.25 million. What else do we have here? Sonoma, increase of 19%. What else do we have? Tulare, Tome, Ventura up by 20%, down 7% year over year. And Yuba County down by 2%. Look at these giant increases, up by 33% from March 2020. And in Yuba County, saw a gain of 37%. And with that said, I appreciate you guys watching this video. And of course, I appreciate you for supporting my YouTube channel. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next video.